talking about gut health. Again, if somebody wanna come up to do the health quiz, you can do that. But I'll save it in the end if you wanna come up. Even now, if you wanna come up, it's okay. We can do the gut health quiz. So basically, it's just to check what is the status of your gut health. If you need, and after the stream and at the end, very end, I'm gonna give some tips of the type of things, food, or the type of strategies that you could use to make sure that your gut health is optimized. So this is the focus today, is more about a personalized, if you want a personalized nutrition or gut nutrition beyond just probiotics, because there's, when it comes to gut health, a lot of the time we'll use probiotics or antibiotics. But the majority of the time, when you go to a doctor, they'll most likely, if you have a pain or if you have some sort of disturbance in your body, they'll most likely give you antibiotics. But we'll find out soon that antibiotics can be very dangerous for the body. And we'll hear a real life story of a doctor, his experience with a patient that was dealing with someone who took or who was using antibiotics, and the damages that it caused to her entire health, and the pain trauma that she had to go through because of that. So, and like I said, today, if you want to have a personalized nutrition for the gut, brain, beyond just probiotics, you can basically get in touch with me. We can get a plan. Find the coaching link in my bio or in the description box. So we can get it started now with this first video. If you can hear the video that I'm gonna play, but if you would like to see what I'm doing, you can also go to YouTube to see the exact video. But you can imagine it's I can describe it for you at this point. It is free, or is there a fee? Mario, you can afford it, to be honest. Click on the link in my bio and you'll see. You can afford it. I have one that I recommend for you that you can afford. But if you want the free stuff, then this is the free stuff. I don't know if you ever took a look in my bio, so you can see, if it's that, you'll find that it's a comfortable price for you. So let's see. All right, so let's get it started.
You had a patient of yours called Michelle who took antibiotics and had a life-threatening swelling of her colon.
Guys, can you guys hear this? Can you guys hear?
She took an antibiotic. She took clindamycin, which is a classic skin antibiotic.
Okay.
And the problem is that clindamycin wipes out your gut, like hard. When that happens, there's a risk that this pathogenic, like bad bacteria called C. diff.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you guys hear this? Let me know in the chat. Are you guys able to hear it? I like the video itself. The video itself is very much it is informational, but the only down part to it is that there's this music in the background that is just that's drowning the voice of what this doctor is saying. But I don't know if you guys can hear it again. So you're gonna have to let me know. It's probably, I can push this a bit closer. But I will assume, if you guys say nothing, I'll assume that you guys can hear it.
If it's in there, it can multiply, and then you get this infection that causes inflammation of the entire colon. And when it gets severe, we call this toxic megacolon. The colon actually has shut down, and it's swelling up and getting huge. I was on call, and I get this text, and they say, "You got to come to this room right now. This patient is sick." And she had just been transferred in from an outside hospital. Run through the hospital, walk into the room. She's clutching her belly and she's moaning, and she has no clue where she is. She's sweaty, pale. Her vital signs are completely out of whack.
So basically, he's talking about a patient that was using antibiotic, but that's ultimately that has gut problems, and the hardship that she had to go through, the amount of pain that she had to go through because of that.
Gently bumped her back,
and most importantly, what he did.
And if a person has severe inflammation of their intestines, they will jump if you do that because they have peritonitis. Just by bumping the bed like that was enough for her to, and she's screaming, right? And clutching her belly, and she has no clue where she is or what is going on. She's completely delirious. We identified that it was this C. diff infection. She was so sick. She was already on maxed out antibiotics. Our choices were to rush her to surgery, remove the colon, or alternatively to give her a fecal transplant and give her a shot at keeping her colon.
Okay, a lot of the time when it comes to gut health, sometimes when your gut microbiome, or meaning that your guts, all of our guts have a specific blueprint, a specific amount of bacteria that's in it. So a lot of the time, some people can think that bacteria is always a bad thing, but it's not always a bad thing. There's bad bacteria, there are good bacteria that our guts need. It's always good to have a balanced amount of bacteria. Sometimes what they will do to initiate to have a balanced bacteria or balanced gut is to take your own poo or take the poo of someone that has a healthy gut and put it inside of your gut. That will promote healthy gut, or that will bring your gut into a situation where it's stable. So this is what he did.
I called up the surgeon. I didn't want to do anything without their support, because if this doesn't go well, this patient is going to need emergency surgery. I take her down to the operating room. If you get a colonoscopy, it's the size of my index finger. I instead went with a smaller scope that's more like 5 millimeters, 6 millimeters across. It's more gentle. It just makes it harder to do. I basically passed the scope through her rectum and all the way through her intestines to get it over here on the right side. I have now passed all the way through her large intestine, and in that location, I delivered the fecal transplant to her. Number one, that procedure went really well. By the next day, she was a normal human being. She was laying in bed. She was able to have a conversation. After 2 days, she was so normal that we were able to send the entire severe infectious issue that she was facing got shut down and corrected by restoring her microbiome. And then when you restore the microbiome, the C. diff basically gets suppressed and the immune system falls back into balance. The inflammation.
You had a
And that's the importance of this, because restoring the microbiome, a lot of the time, this is an extreme situation, of course, but again, there are a lot of times we probably, you go to the doctor, you have a surgery, or you have some pain, you have maybe in your monthly cycle that you need to take some antibiotics or some, or just basically some antibiotics. It could be for a lot of other reasons as well that you need to take antibiotics. So when that happens, the risk of taking or using antibiotics, that you can have a situation just like what he just explained, that a patient, you can go into a deep sense of pain, and it can be a very traumatic situation for you. So this is why we're going to talk about ultimately how, and the 3 aspects that your microbiome actually, again, when I talk about microbiome, think about the biology or the atmosphere inside your gut, in just atmosphere inside your intestine. So if you think about the atmosphere inside your room right now, probably is it's not too hot, not too cold, but you try to find it, I don't know. But think about it like the temperature in your room, you want it to always be comfortable for you. So in the microbiome is all the different like things that has to do with the temperature. So it can be the thermostat, but again, the microbiome, when it's balanced, means that your gut is comfortable the way that it should be. So gut health is very central to your mood, your sleep, and immunity, because it isn't just a digestive system. Again, the gut, you can think about it as in the sense of the digestive system. Yeah. So your big intestine and your small intestine, but it's entire, it's not just that, but it's an entire digestive system. But again, I just want to make it as clear as possible, because I don't want to go into scientific details, never here. it is a central communication and control hub for the entire body. The reason for this lies in very much it is the key system that we all human have, which are it control all of these systems, which are the gut-brain axis or the immune system regulation and inflammation control. So our gut control or has all of these processes that are connected to it. You might think that, okay, your stomach is all here. So how can it be connected to your brain? How can it be connected to your immune system? Or what is the impact that it has and whether you become inflammation? Inflammation is a sense that your body is becoming in a situation that is not balanced. So when your body is in a situation that is not balanced, your mood, your sleep, and will be out of balance as well. So, and your immunity, meaning that you'll be more likely or higher, you'll have a higher chance of becoming ill, and your immune system won't be able to protect you as effectively as it should. If you think about your immune system, it's like your soldier, your bodyguard inside of you to protect you from all the bacteria and illnesses that you are facing on a daily basis. So now we're gonna take a look at this again from these three different perspectives, and then we're gonna talk about some of the things that you could always, some of the practices or best practice that you can use in order to keep your microbiome healthy as it can, and so your mood can be regulated. So now we're gonna start first with the brain axis, the gut-brain axis. I think a lot of you have heard about the gut-brain, or it's something that I can feel it in my gut. It's like when you know something but you cannot explain it, you have no way of actually make it make sense. You think about, okay, this is just a gut feeling. Yeah, so you can have gut feeling, and it is also said that the gut feeling is another brain. We have our brain up here, but we also have our gut brain. So this is the primary two-way communication network linking your gut and your brain, meaning that your gut and your brain are connected. Your gut microbes or bacteria produce an influential vital neurotransmitters. So neurotransmitters are always, things that are different connection that your brain makes or have inside of it. Neurotransmitter. Neuro has to do with, your neurological, your brain. Transmitters has to do with brain connections. So now let's look at the impact on your mood. When your microbiome is unbalanced, this is how it impacts your mood. About 90% of your body's serotonin, we've talked about serotonin, which is a key mood regulator, is produced in the gut. Serotonin is the chemical, the hormones that our body push out during the daytime. And also what happens is, in a situation where it become imbalanced, your gut becoming imbalanced, it creates a disruption in the production of serotonin. So how would that impact your sleep? Serotonin is very much a parent to melatonin. So this is the sleep hormone. So, but the microbiome also produce GABA, so which is a calming neurotransmitter that promotes rest. So what do I mean by that? In the gut, you also produce something that is called GABA, and it helps you to feel calm. It helps you to feel, to feel at peace. So once your body doesn't have this natural, good functioning gut, what tends to happen is that, all of these hormone production, which is serotonin and GABA, will not be produced as your body need it. So it also because of that, it also impact your immune system. And the vagus nerve, a major part of the axis, helps regulate the immune response originated in the gut. So meaning your immune system is also originated or is connected to your gut. So once your gut microbiome or your gut health is not being taken care of, what tends to happen, your immune system goes down. You're easily being, you can easily get sick. You can easily catch the cold. You can easily, your body is not so hard or it's not so strong at fighting off diseases or even the common cold. So this is why for me, I'm like, a lot of the time I would say that I have a strong immune system. and that has to do with a lot that I take care of my microbiomes or my gut health, because it's very unlikely that I'll get sick. And even when I hear people are coughing around me, or people are just being just coughing around me because they have the cold, or just they are sick, or they are ill, for me it just doesn't, my body just doesn't catch it. So even if I do catch the cold, what tends to happen, the amount of time that the cold stays with me is really shorter than other people. So some people can have a cold that lasts for days, or even over a week, or even weeks. For me, just a matter of 2 days, my cold is gone. So it's it's part of taking care of your immune system when it comes to your microbiome, because the immune system is the headquarter of your protection. So because what happens is roughly 70 to 80% of your immune cells lives in your gut. So if you think of the human cells, they live in your gut, over 70 to 80% of them, which means a healthy, diverse microbiome is essential for training and regulating these cells. If you want these cells to be trained, or if you want these cells to be constantly being produced in a healthy amount, you want to have a healthy microbiome. You understand microbiome, again, you can think about it as the atmosphere that is balanced in your gut, in your intestine. And the way that they impact your immune system is that a good gut bacteria is not always a negative, because a lot of the time, sometimes some people think of bacteria as always a negative thing, but bacteria can also be positive to the body. It depends. It really depends. So a good gut bacteria teaches the immune cells to distinguish between threats and health, and also harmful substances, by helping to prevent overreaction like allergies and autoimmune issues. A lot of the time, the reason why some people will develop or have autoimmune issues is a situation where the immune system start to attack their own body. So even while the immune system is supposed to be protecting themselves, or supposed to be protecting them and guarding them from any illnesses, from allergies, from the common cold, from basically from any disease that can just be developing in your body. Your immune system is basically always fighting for you. But when you don't have a good gut bacteria, because there's good gut bacteria, there's also bad gut bacteria. When you don't have the good one, what tends to happen, it's easy for you to catch allergies. It's easy for you to have autoimmune issues, or it's easy for you to get sick quicker and faster, and at the same time for longer. And it impacts your mood and your sleep as well, because some people would think that it's just what happens to your sleep is, if your sleep is being impacted, your sleep quality is going down, or you cannot find ways to get good sleep. And you should think about stress is one, but also your gut bacteria is another one. There are many reasons that can contribute to poor sleep, and this is one of the main one right here. So a well-trained immune system prevents chronic inflammation. We already talk about chronic inflammation. Chronic, so meaning that it's always constantly you being in a situation, a state where your body is not at balance. So which can disrupt brain function and sleep cycle. So when your body is in a situation where like it's not being able to protect itself the way it should, so it creates a situation where it's chronically inflamed. So you can think about inflammation as like a building that is on fire. It's just gonna constantly keep getting burned, and more the fire is gonna even get more and more or expand over time. So inflammation regulation, that's another key activity that the gut bacteria or your gut system does. A healthy gut lining acts as a strong barrier. The healthy gut lining, so if you can think about the lining is what's in the inside of your gut. So if you think of your intestine as a tube, the lining will be what's in the inside of the tube. So if you think of the tube, the lining will be like in the outer part. So a healthy gut lining act as a strong barrier. What tends to happen, a lot of people don't know that they are suffering from this issue, which is leaky gut. which is intestinal, is from the intestine. When your intestine become permeability or become permeable, meaning that your intestine have small holes in it, or small, very, very small holes in it, that allow inflammation compounds to enter the bloodstream. So it means like in our body, everything is kept in the right place. Everything's supposed to be dealt with or function in the right way. So when in your gut, when you have leaky gut, that means if you have a balloon and you put water in it and you have a small hole that is, very, very tiny, you know what's going to happen. It's going to be leaking. Water is going to be coming out of it. So the same thing can happen to us in our body when it comes to our guts. And our guts can be leaking, and it can create, it can be leaking the things that we don't need into our bloodstream, into our blood itself. That creates a body wide, and your entire body become very much inflamed. Although that inflammation is low grade, but it's still problematic. So that would mean that it impact your sleep, because inflammatory molecules can disrupt the brain region that controls sleep and sleep stages, and increase stress hormones like making restful sleep difficult. So when it comes to inflammation molecules, as we talk about, when you have leaky guts, that has inflammation, that creates inflammation molecules that disrupt the brain region that would create cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone that our body produces naturally to help us fight off stress, but it can increase over time, where our body goes to a situation of fight or flight, where we're trying to fight or just run away. And if you are constantly in a situation where you are hyperly stressed, or there's a lot of stress hormones, cortisol that is being pumped into your bloodstream, or that is being pumped into your body, it will be very hard for you to sleep, because when you're trying to calm down and sleep, or you're trying to relax and sleep, but your heart rate is still pumping cortisol. So it also impact your mood, because chronic inflammation is a known risk factor that causes depression and anxiety. Because when you have chronic inflammation, as I've said before, when a fire can start very small, but over time it can grow and grow and grow. So after a certain limit, the fire can actually grow and burn down the entire building. So that's the same thing that can happen to our body, is that then the chronic inflammation, repeated inflammation, over time it grows. So what tends to happen, that can create a depressive situation. You can feel depressed, and your anxiety level will also go up, because your body is not balanced. And that very much impact your immune system as well, because persistent or constant inflammation strain the body of like the normal way of that it should protect us. Because imagine that your body is constantly, let's say again, this house that is on fire, but then the fire engine, they come to that location and they are trying to put the fire out. Instead of coming with a big hose or big, some up to multiply the amount of water that they can throw, or some sort of, put some chemicals in the water that can, dispense or burn down, or, remove the fire itself, or stop the fire from constantly keep increasing. They come with a small hose and keep spraying. What's going to happen, although they are trying to, stop the fire from growing, what would happen over time is that the fire will still keep growing. So the inflammation is still going to be there. So which means that the building will still eventually be burned. Can I be honest? You never believe it. You never believe what exactly? So that means your immune system is always working. Your immune system is always busy. So it keeps you in a very much a state of constant alert, while you should be asleep, while you should be at rest, you still feel alert. So you cannot get restful sleep. So now I want to focus on the practical steps for a healthy gut. I think that's really necessary for us to know. for you guys to know, because we talk about gut health, but what are the things that you could do to make sure that your gut stays healthy? Okay, you can support these three systems: your immune system, your brain, and your gut health, or basically by doing these things, by having these daily habits that you practice. And they are very simple, of course. They are very simple habits that you can do, and doesn't require as much. You just have to follow what I'm gonna say to you right now. Now look, first you want to do is nourish your microbiome. I already told you guys that your microbiome is like the atmosphere inside your guts, or the atmosphere inside your intestine. So aim for 30 different plant-based food weekly. So that would means that 30 don't have that would mean out of the 30, it could be fruits, it could be vegetables, it could be nuts, it could be seeds, it could be legumes, it could be whole grains. Try to keep it. Our guts, our microbiome like to have variety of different food like this. And what you could also do is to include ferments or fermented food, like add probiotics, not antibiotics. You want to stay away as much as you can from antibiotics. Add probiotics rich food like yogurt or kefir or kimchi. These will definitely help you to maintain a balanced microbiome or balanced gut health. Also, what you could do is focus on fiber and prebiotic. There's probiotics, there's fermented, there's also prebiotics. So fiber is always very necessary for us to have in our system. Fiber, it helps to help the movement process in our intestine and our organs. So it's like almost like a lubricant in a way, even though it might not seem like it, but it helps our body to move things around, or like our meals around in our intestine. I have high sugar disease for 12 years. I got a cardio version 4 week ago and my sugar disappeared. Really? You said you didn't believe this, but okay. Guys, like and follow y'all. So we're gonna talk about now, where can you find prebiotics and fiber? And these feed, the reason why they are important is because they feed good bacteria. And where you can find them is in food like garlic, onion, asparagus, oats, and apples. They are full of fiber, and our body needs fiber all the time. So if you can manage to keep your diet like this, like I just told you guys, full with these healthy fibers and healthy probiotics and ferments food, and also eating diverse different plant-based food, it will definitely help you to maintain your the natural atmosphere, the balanced atmosphere that your stomach or your guts need. So another thing that I found interesting to say is that start protecting your sleep quality, because a lot of the time sleep is very much important as well to maintain your microbiome. I know it's gonna be very much difficult for you guys to do it. Even it's even difficult for me to do this part. I'm gonna actually say here, like mention here. I just gotta be honest. Is that keep a sleep schedule, and by that I mean have a fixed time that you go to sleep and a fixed time that you're gonna wake up. For me, it's kind of difficult because I have different hours, different times that I have to do different things. And sometimes I might be here for longer, and sometimes I have to wake up earlier than other days. It really depends. So although it is possible, but again, what you could do also under the sleep umbrella, or under the sleep part, is to time your meals. Always try to not go to sleep with your stomach full. I remember for me as a child, it used to be a situation like I used to a lot of the time go to sleep with my stomach full. I would just wake up if I didn't have dinner. and I went to sleep, and I had a very tiring day, I would go to sleep, and then my parents would wake me up so I can eat, and then they would tell me to stay up, don't go to sleep, but I'll just go right back to sleep, which is the wrong thing to do for anyone to do. I do understand there's even an entire cultures that does this. Let's say, for example, the Spaniards, people from Spain, they have siesta. They eat, see, and then they'll go to sleep. A lot of different cultures does this, but it's not healthy. It depends what you eat, of course, but the majority of the time you wouldn't focus on things that you're eating like that. But again, but the rule of thumb, the best case scenario is that what you're gonna eat, or what you're gonna eat, finish eating it 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, because that would not, and because when you do that, your digestion would have rest, will also be at rest, not just eat and then go to sleep, because your digestion will be working as you are asleep. So your sleep quality will be influenced in a negative way. And also what you could do is to limit sleep disruptors. So reduce caffeine if you can, especially after 2 p.m. And for some people that might not be possible because you might be having a late nighter or all-nighter or something. But again, just know that when you have coffee after 6 p.m., it's gonna definitely influence your sleep in some ways. And definitely you wanna limit alcohol around these times, after 2 p.m. if you can. But again, well, it really depends though, because between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. are the times when your body is the warmest. I don't know if you guys really pay attention to your body. And that could be the time that you could, if you're gonna drink, you can drink, but it's more the best time if you're gonna do physical activity for you to do it. As both, what tends to happen is that when you drink caffeine and alcohol after 2 p.m., they disrupt your sleep and it also harms your gut bacteria. But although it's hard for a lot of us to actually keep a steady cycle. So if you're not drinking alcohol, then that helps. If you're not an alcohol drinker, that definitely helps. But if you're gonna use caffeine, try to use it as a tool when you have the dip and your energy, and then use it to get you up, and then you don't need to use it anymore. Or if you're gonna use it later, if you feel that you need to get your caffeine in order to function your entire day, so make sure you stop at least, again, 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, but still drink a lot of water so you can wash it down your system, and make sure that you are, that you don't have much urine in your system, because again, if you have to go to sleep and wake up in the nighttime, then your sleep quality is also going to be affected. Manage your stress, because chronic stress directly harms your gut bacteria and increase the hole's permeability, meaning that increase the situation that you can develop leaky gut. So which mean, again, when your gut has small micro holes in them, and so there's no barrier between your gut and your other part of your body. Incorporate mindfulness when it comes to managing your stress. There are different things that you can do. You can have mindfulness meditation, or gentle yoga, or anything that you find. You don't have to follow all these specific things for managing your stress, but do something about managing your stress. And the best thing all the time that you can do to manage your stress is to always stay away from stressful people who are gonna stress you out, and at the same time learn to communicate what stresses you out. But also, a lot of the time there's different things that can help you, or it depends on the person that you are. It's always best to understand what could help you to manage your stress. And the key takeaway from this stream is to understand that the central control hub, which is your gut, is a central command center directly influence your brain, immune system, and also inflammatory responses through constant communication. So meaning that your immune system, your brain, and your gut are always in communication with each other. They are not, although they might seem very far from one another, but they still communicate to each other. And also to understand the negative part of a vicious cycle post sleep disrupt your gut balance, and it also disrupt gut harms, which also harms your sleep cycle. Also, similarly, to understand that stress damages the gut, and the gut problem increase stress and anxiety. So it's like a feedback loop. Stress damage your gut, but because of the stress, it creates anxiety and depression in your body. So breaking one link negatively impact the other. So when you are breaking the link between your having a healthy gut or healthy immune system, or basically your having too much stress, all of these things, they just create a negative situation in your body. But diet is the foundation. So the most direct and effective way to improve your gut ecosystem is through a diverse, rich fiber food and whole food diet. By focusing on healthy gut, you are not just improving digestion, you are fundamentally supporting the biological foundation of your mood, sleep, and resilience. So this is like the time. If you anyone want to take the gut health quiz, we can do that. And this is time for questions if you have any question. But I saw someone said something earlier. I did not understand what he means. He was saying something earlier. Yeah, I have high blood disease, high blood sugar disease for 12 years. So cardioversion 4. Okay. $4 weeks ago. Okay, a cardioversion 4 weeks ago, and my sugar disappeared. Your sugar disappeared. What do you mean by that? Okay, cardioversion is a medical procedure that uses controlled electric shock and medication to reset an irregular or rapid heart rhythm. So basically, this guy was talking a bunch of. That's exactly what I thought. What's up, Carol? How you doing? Karima, how you doing, Karima? I remember. No. How you guys doing? Thank you. Oh. What does that mean? Oh, hi. Oh, I should have thought about that. So,